Ever missed a train by 1 minute, only to find out the station clock was 5 minutes off? That wasn't bad luck. That was daily life before clocks agreed.
Aha, Doodles.
Every town set its own time by the sun. So noon in Boston was 12 minutes earlier than in New York. In 1883, the railroads finally said enough and split the U.S. into just 4 time zones, like herding cats into 4 neat pens. Train schedules were a nightmare. One railroad printed 75 different timetables just for Illinois. Passengers had to reset their watches every few towns, or risk missing their ride. Meanwhile, in London, the Great Western Railway literally painted a clock face on its station, 4 different times, one for each town it served. Picture this. It's November 1853, and you're standing on a platform in New England. 2 trains are supposed to pass each other on the same track, but one's running on Boston time, the other on New York time. Then bam! New York's 12:0 and Boston's 12:3 collide like 2 pub trivia teams who both know the right answer. The engineer yells what time is IT, but the conductor's watch says 12:1, the tower clock says 12:4, and the cow chewing grass on the tracks just moos Taco Tuesday. Railroads had a choice: keep killing passengers or fix time itself. In 1883, the railroads declared time zones, New York to Chicago in one fell swoop, like swiping right on a giant group chat for the whole country. 1 time for the East, 1 for the Midwest, 1 for the Rockies, 1 for the West. No more guessing. Farmers in Indiana still set their alarms by the rooster, not the railroad. So when the 5:15 express whistled through at 4:42 local sun time, the cows thought it was breakfast. Railroad barons like Cornelius Vanderbilt just shrugged and said, let's pick 4 time zones: Eastern, Central, Mountain, Pacific, and call it a compromise. By 1883, even the U.S. Naval Observatory was begging for a truce, so they all synced to a single railroad time like a giant, grumpy group text read receipt. Enter Sandford Fleming, a Canadian engineer with a pocket watch, a missed train, and a grudge against chaos. The year was 1876. Fleming's train was supposed to leave at 5:35 p.m., but the station clock said one thing, his watch said another, and the conductor just shrugged. He missed the train. And yeah, that's annoying. But here's what's wild. He didn't just get mad. He got even. Fleming's solution: split the whole planet into 24 neat slices, 1 for every hour. Each slice would share the exact same time, no matter where you stood inside it. He called it standard time and pitched it in 1876 at the International Meridian Conference, armed with a map so sharp it could cut confusion. Fleming's plan: slice the planet into 24 neat time slices like a cosmic pizza, with Greenwich as the first slice. But Fleming didn't care. He spent the next decade mailing his idea to every leader, scientist, and railroad tycoon he could find. Most ignored him. Some sent polite rejection letters. And then in 1884, the world finally listened, because one country decided to give it a try. And honestly, it worked. So in 1884, the world finally had a plan. But here's the catch. Where exactly do you put 0 time? 25 countries gathered in Washington, D.C. for the International Meridian Conference. The goal: pick one line on the map to rule them all. Britain pushed for Greenwich. France, of course, wanted Paris. The U.S. suggested a compromise, somewhere in the Atlantic, far from any nation's pride. But here's the thing. Greenwich already had the Royal Observatory. And honestly, it was the most accurate clock in the world. The vote was close. 22 nations said yes to Greenwich. France and Brazil abstained. And just like that, the world had a new center. France stuck to Paris mean time like it was the newest beret, until 1911. Meanwhile, the Ottoman Empire kept Istanbul on its own solar time, like a stubborn cat refusing to share the couch. But in 1940, Franco nudged Spain's clocks forward to match Axis Europe, so Spaniards could share a sunset with Berlin. So while Lisbon sits cozy with London's sunset, Madrid's stuck eating dinner at 10 p.m. like a rebellious teen. Why? Because in 1940, Spain's dictator Franco switched the clocks to align with Nazi Germany. And yeah, they just never switched back. Then there's China, one time zone for a country that's 3,000 miles wide. In the 1940s, China had 5 time zones. But after the revolution, the government said, nope, one time for all. That's why Xinjiang locals just set their watches to Beijing time -2. Like running your phone on airplane mode plus caffeine. And then there's North Korea. In 2015, it invented its own time zone, just to spite South Korea. They called it Pyongyang time. It lasted 3 years. Then they quietly switched back. Because honestly, time zones are hard. South Korea's clocks ticked right along, proving that even split countries can agree on one thing: UTC +9. You wake up on a Sunday morning, sunlight streaming through the curtains. You check your phone 7:0 a.m. Perfect. Then you remember, today's the day the clock steals an hour. Turns out, this sneaky time swap was actually the brainchild of a bug-loving British builder, William Willett, who just wanted more evening light for his golf games. It started in 1916, during World War I. Germany was the first to try it, because coal was running out, and they needed every extra hour of daylight to keep factories running. The idea: shift clocks forward in summer so people finish work while it's still light out. Less artificial light needed, more daylight to burn. Britain copied it a month later. The U.S. followed in 1918. But here's the twist: most countries dropped it after the war, because honestly, no one liked losing an hour of sleep. Then World War II hit. Suddenly, daylight saving was back, this time for the war effort. The U.S. even called it wartime. Extra daylight meant extra work for victory. Post-war, the U.S. had no rules until 1965 when St. Paul, Minnesota, started daylight saving a week early, leaving Minneapolis stuck in yesterday time. Finally, in 1966, the U.S. standardized it. But not everyone plays along. Arizona and Hawaii. Nope, they'd rather keep their sunsets on time. And the farmers, they actually hated it. Cows don't care what the clock says. They just want to be milked on time. Fleming, a railroad-loving Canadian, proposed 24 wedge-shaped zones, like a giant clock face for the planet. No more your noon is my 3 p.m. chaos. So in 1884, 25 nations, not 26, France abstained, still salty about losing the time capital title, voted Greenwich as the zero line, like making London the symbol of global clocks. And the one place that refused, the South Pole. In fact, the Amundsen Scott Station, America's South Pole base, just picks New Zealand time because, hey, someone's gotta order pizza. And speaking of time zones, even the South Pole's neighbors can't agree. Russia's Vostok station stubbornly runs on Moscow time, 6,000 miles away, because bureaucracy never sleeps. Meanwhile, in France, the Paris Meridian once marked the world's prime time before Greenwich stole the spotlight. Turns out, the clock didn't just steal an hour. It was hired by the railroads in 1883 to end the chaos of 300-plus local sun times, like your phone auto-updating to avoid group chat mayhem. Then in 1884, the world met at Washington, D.C., and voted standard time zones, like splitting the globe into 24 pizza slices. So set your alarm. But remember, time's just a story. And the best stories, they are the ones we rewrite.